Steve Mills here, and it's great to be here sharing some thoughts that I've got for you on why it's so difficult to run a small business and what to do about it. I'm here to be honest, to promote a free webinar that I'm running next Wednesday. It's at 12:30. Details are available on my website, which is www.stevemills.co. So if you want to attend the webinar, that would be great. But I want to talk to you now a little bit about what's going to be on the webinar, and also why is it that small businesses are so tough to run. Now, first, some stats. In the UK, there are 5.2 million small businesses. Now, the government defines a small business as a business employing less than 250 people. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually think that's quite a big business. You know, they're the stats. And these small businesses contribute over $2 trillion to the UK economy. They're a massive part of the amount of money that we, as a country, we earn. In fact, I believe it's just over 56%. So, you know, small businesses are really, you know, a powerful part of what we do, and, you know, a real key to the success of our country. And, but you also, you know, really alarming statistics around small business success. You know, years ago, it was a bit of a cliche that, you know, 80% of small businesses go bust within 5 years. Well, I'm here to tell you that's got worse. It's actually over 92% now. 92% of the businesses that start this year, inside 5 years, will have gone bust. And in fact, of the businesses started in 2017, which is only, you know, a maximum sort of couple of years ago, depending on when they were started, I think it's 84% have already gone bust. So, you know, that's a real, you know, shame. And in my webinar, I want to talk about why that is. Why is it? And hopefully provide you with some ideas and ways, if you run a small business yourself, you can avoid that happening to you. Because, as I say, you know, nobody wants to invest their time, their money, you know, put their families at risk, their lives at risk by running a small business if it's not going to be successful. However, there's a problem. And the problem, I believe, is fundamentally around this. And this is something I learned from Michael Gerber, the author of The E-Myth. And Gerber says that in a small business, there are 3 departments. Even if you know you don't, you know, if you're a one-man business and you've not got, you know, a department as such, there are still 3 departments. Department 1 is operations. And this is the department that does the work. So this is you as maybe a landscape gardener or a hairdresser or an accountant or a marketing person or whatever it is you do for a living. That's department 1. Now, typically, when people go into business, they go into business because they're good at department 1. They're good at doing what they do. They've done it for years. You know, people work as a garage mechanic and then decide to set up their own garage. They spent 20 years as a garage mechanic, and of course they're good at doing that. You know, or they decide to set up their own coaching business, be it as a tennis coach or a life coach or whatever it is, and they know that they're good at doing that. They've been doing it again for many, many, many years, and they have hopefully a high level of expertise. If they don't, then pretty much they're doomed anyway. They're stuffed. You know, if you're not good at what you do, the market will find you out. But let's just assume that you're good at what you do. But that's only a third of the equation. You've got to not only be good at doing the work of the business, but you've also, step 2 or department 2, you've got to be good at managing the money in that business. And again, most small businesses are not very good at managing the financial side of their business. If you asked a small business owner to read a set of accounts, they probably wouldn't understand everything within that set of accounts. If I spoke to a small business owner and said, okay, let me see your cash flow, they go, well, I don't really have a cash flow. You know, if I showed them a balance sheet, they'd look at me thinking, why is he showing me that? And I don't really understand it. You get the point. So, you know, you don't need to be an accountant. You don't need that level of knowledge. But my belief is that you need to upgrade. You know, you need to know more than you do right now. Because one of the problems is that accountants, the most accountants don't really provide you with the information that you need. That's the truth. You know, they tell you how well you did 18 months ago. You know, your year ends in April, and, you know, 6 months after that, they produce a set of accounts telling you how well you did, you know, a year ago to 18 months ago, you know, which is about as much use as a button on a sock. And so, you know, we need to know where I am right now. How much money's outstanding? How much money have I made this month? What was a profit on that? And those sort of numbers as a small business owner. Now, here's the biggie. The big problem that small businesses have is department 3, and that is selling the stuff. Yeah, they're really good at what they do. They don't manage the money well, and they can't sell it. When I say can't, they can't sell it in big enough quantities. They're not making enough sales. You know, out of these, 5.2 million businesses, most of them, when I say most, I don't know this part of it. I'm not really sure, but I'd suspect that over 95% of them turn over less than 50 grand, because we are a nation of shopkeepers. We really are. And I want to do my bit to try and solve that problem. So, I don't know whether, where you are in your business right now, but if you're not making the sort of profit that you'd like to be making, and you really want to upgrade and you want to do better than you did last year, and better than you're doing now, then, the first step I'd like you to take is just come on my webinar. Come on my webinar and listen to what I've said. And then at the end of it, you'll be able to make a decision. And that decision is one or two things. You're going to carry on as you are and, hopefully grow your business, making the mistakes that people make, and, might take you a long time, but you can grow your business. Or we can set up a one-to-one meeting with me. And in that meeting, I'm going to give you some great ideas and ways in which you can grow your business. And I'm also going to talk to you about working with me on an ongoing basis and how that might look, and how I can get you from wherever you are right now. If you're a startup or you've been, going along, turning over 30, 40 grand a year, I'm going to help you to get within 6 months to 100K, £100,000 turnover in 6 months. That's what I do. That's my specialist area. Now, if you're already turning over that amount and you're on, turning over $250,000, 300,000, maybe perhaps only 150,000, but you really want to get to that next level, and the next level is 7 figures, £1 million turnover business, then this webinar is also for you. Now, lastly, if you're again at that level, you're turning over $1 million, maybe a couple of million, and you really want to get to the next level, which is 8, then you're also going to learn some great ideas and ways in which you might be able to do that. So, what I'm going to ask you to do then is have a little bit of faith. So I'm going to, worst case scenario is you waste 45 minutes. And best case scenario is, you double, triple, quadruple your business over the next year. So, I believe it's going to be worth your while. So that's about it. So to book onto the webinar, here's what you need to do. You need to go to my website. The website is www.stevemills.co. If you click on the button called training, you'll see a button there with a link to the webinar, and just sign up. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. You don't have to have a meeting with me if you don't want. But go and take a look and be able to make an educated decision as to whether this is for you. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again on the webinar next week. Thanks very much.